All right, welcome to Kentucky Football Nation. Let's talk about the air raid offense, which we ran from 1997 to the year 2000. Let's talk about why it failed at Kentucky. Okay, first of all, backstory. Bill Curry was our coach, awful for about 7 years before 1997. We only went to one bowl game. We were 6-5. We ran the option. It didn't work. We needed a fresh new coach. So you can go back and watch my How Mummy video, Paul Finebaum video from 1997, in which Paul Finebaum criticized our athletic director for going and getting Hal Mummy. Now, who is Hal Mummy? He was running the air raid. It wasn't in Division One. It was in Division Two at Valdosta State. He was an offensive-minded coach. He took some of the BYU offense and made it into his own air raid offense. So there's your history. We hire him because we want somebody fresh. We realize we have to do something different if we want to win in the SEC. So let's talk about now. We actually ran this for more than 4 years. We probably ran it for 5.5. But we'll go over here. Okay, so let me get my clicker out. All right, let me put on the right thing here. Sorry about that. Okay, air raid offense, 1997 to 2000. Hal Mummy's our coach. Now, he gets caught cheating, so he ends up leaving in 2000, okay? But let's talk about what happened, because when this first came, nobody was more excited about the air raid offense than I was. I was 31 years old. I had never seen anything like this, lining up and throwing the ball. I thought, oh my God, we're going to win the SEC. We're going to win bowl games. We're going to just do so much stuff. And at first we did, but then we didn't. So let's talk about what happened and why it happened. 1997, we end up 5-6, which, hey, we had been 4-8, 6-5 under Bill Curry. But the best thing was we were 26th in the nation in total offense. Now, we only had 8 rushing touchdowns. This is what I'm going to start telling you. You cannot run out of the air raid. You cannot run effectively most of the time because you're in the shotgun. You're Tim Couch, Jared Lorenzen, are in the shotgun. So you're trying to run out of the shotgun. It doesn't work. However, we won some games because nobody knew how to defend the air raid when it came in 1997. Okay. It was kind of like, if you're old, the Bears 46 defense. When it first came out, you couldn't stop it. After about 2 years, you stopped it. Well, I'm going to use that example. That's what happened here. First year, we beat Louisville, the very first game. We scored 38 points. I thought, oh my God, Bill Curry's teams, if you scored 20 points, it's like kind of like now with Stoops. If you scored 38 points, oh my God. So we won 38-24. Now, here was the signature win right here. Go back and watch my Paul Finebaum, Hal Mummy video when we beat Alabama in overtime. We hadn't beat Alabama since, and we hadn't beat them since 1933. We beat them in overtime. Now, we had 2 excellent receivers for 97 and 98, which was Keo Sanford and I will think of the other receiver in a moment. But yeah, we had 2 excellent receivers. Craig Yeast, that's who I was thinking of. So we had Keo Sanford, Craig Yeast. Those were stellar receivers. So the first 2 years we have those guys. Well, we have one of those guys. But anyway, signature win, Alabama. Now we're rolling. Now we're thinking, oh my God, we just beat Louisville. We just beat Alabama. Now we got beat some. We never beat Florida. We never beat Tennessee. We never beat Georgia. But okay, so we get beat by Steve Spurrier 55-28. LSU beats us 63-28. Tennessee 50. This is a theme with Tennessee, 59-31. Okay, so while we won 5 games and we beat some crappy teams, Vanderbilt and Eastern Kentucky, whoever the non-con teams, Southeastern Louisiana, I can't remember, but we didn't win. Did not win very many games, excuse me, in the SEC, and we were getting beat by these scores right here. But we were scoring 28, and you're like, well, damn, we've been scoring like 14. We're scoring 28, and I remember people were happy that, hey, we only got we scored 28. Forget about the 63. We're scoring 59-31. Oh my God! So then we get to 1998. Now this is Tim Couch. This is his second year. This is his third. Now this is the Pinnacle year. I want you to remember this is Tim Couch is up for the Heisman. We're rolling. 1998. We go 7-5. Okay, this is the pinnacle, the highest we ever got. 8th in total offense. Okay, 11 rushing touchdowns. Now we had Anthony White and Derek Homer were 2 running backs. Anthony White was an excellent running back. We had those guys for these 2 years. So the first 2 years we're rolling because we have some really good receivers and really good running backs. So yes, 11 rushing touchdowns, as I said, eighth in total offense. We beat Louisville 68-34. We just ran them off the field, guys. I mean, we embarrassed them. LSU, we won 39-36. I think that's where we were down in Baton Rouge, and we ran a reverse. It was 36-36, and we act like we were going to run out the clock. And how many runs a reverse with like 20 something seconds left, and they thought we were going to play for overtime. We run a reverse, we go down the field, we get down there, we kick a field goal and win. We beat Vandy. Now, once again, bad losses. Florida, 51-35 at Florida. But you say, damn, we scored 35. Right. Craig Yeast had a killer game this game right here. So we're getting beat. Tennessee, 59. They got 59 here, 59 here, 21. Tennessee, Philip Fulmer beat the hell out of us every year. He didn't care about the air raid. Now, Georgia, 28-26. We almost beat them. We missed a field goal at the end of the game to lose this game. I remember this game. We went to a bowl game, okay? First, we played on New Year's Day for the first time in I don't know when, 1977, and we got up on Penn State 14-3. And then you know what they did? They started getting to our quarterback and or all over our receivers, and they ended up coming back and winning 26-14. That was a good year, but we lost, okay? 7-5. Now we get to the Dusty Bonner year. Speaking of Dusty Bonner, who says we need to run the air raid again. And I disagree with, but he's Dusty Bonner. Now, we dropped to 43rd. This is what you're going to notice. We were 8th. Now we dropped to 43rd. Tim Couch is gone. Okay, so we have him as our quarterback, Dusty Bonner. We have 11 rushing touchdowns. Now, wins. I was at this game, this IU game. We won 44-35. IU, not that good at all, but they put 35 on us. And you go, wow, great game. Now, we killed LSU for some reason. They didn't figure us out yet. South Carolina, we beat them 31-10. They weren't that good. Arkansas, 31-20. So we get a couple conference wins. Louisville, here's the bad ones. Louisville ran us off the field, 56-28. Okay, was that an exciting game? We scored 28. You go, damn, that was exciting. No, it wasn't. They beat the shit out of us. Florida beats the shit out of us again. Excuse my language, 38-10. Tennessee, what do you got? 59, 56, 21. Philip Fulmer is just, I mean, they're killing us, guys. They're covering our receivers. They're sacking our quarterback. They're getting pressure on us. Georgia, 49-34. Now, that's a little bit of a close game, right? We go to Georgia, and okay, they get 7 touchdowns. But, you know, we get, what, 5 touchdowns. So, yeah. We go to a bowl, and we lose to Syracuse 20-13. So we didn't beat Syracuse. So 6-6. If you like 6-6, you know, and you say, okay, that's exciting. It's exciting. Some of these games, yes, we did beat a few teams. And then we go here. Now we get to the year 2000. Dusty Bonner is our starting quarterback, but Jared Lorenzen is a freshman. Everybody loves Jared Lorenzen. Kind of reminds you of our quarterback now, Kentucky kid. Well, Jared Lorenzen was a Kentucky kid, and everybody wanted Jared Lorenzen to start. So in 2000, we start Jared Lorenzen. Now we're on pro. How Mummy has cheated. They mailed money. Our one of our football staff members was in the Lexington post office mailing out money orders. Why was he? He was in Lexington. I think it was Lexington or Louisville, and mailing out money orders to players, which was stupid. But so he's on his last legs here. We go 2-9. This is becoming the common theme. So we went from 8th in the country to 43rd to 77th in total offense. 2-9, 9 rushing touchdowns. Why? Because you can't run out of the shotgun. Okay, you cannot run the ball on the goal line. Okay, this is what people have figured us out now. 0-8 in the SEC. Only wins we had were IU. Indiana was awful, and South Florida, awful. We lost to Florida 59-31. There you go. Okay, it's a little bit of an exciting game. LSU 34-0. Tennessee again. Tennessee 59. They get 50 something every time. 59-20. Ole Miss came in and beat us 35-17. Okay, we didn't win any SEC games. We were awful. Okay, now how Mummy gets fired. Guy Morse takes over 2 years. We can talk about that in a minute. And let me get my notes here because I had some. We went 2-9 in 2001, and then we start to transition away. We went 7-5 in 2002, but we're on probation after this for 2 years. So the 7-5 doesn't count. Guy Morse goes to Baylor. We bring in Rich Brooks. We'll talk about in a second. So what I want to say is we were 0-2 in bowls. We were outscored these 4 years of the air raid. Everybody wants exciting. We were outscored 349 to 254. Okay, that's how much we were outscored because we score quickly and then gave the ball back to really good teams. You keep giving the ball back to Florida back then, Tennessee, Philip Fulmer, Steve Spurrier, they're going to kick your ass. So yeah, we scored quick, but they scored quicker. We kept giving them the ball back. So if you think this is an exciting score, would you rather play Ole Miss 30 to 23 or get beaten by Ole Miss 35 to 17 or whatever, 34, 59, 31? Which one's more exciting to you? Because this is what we were getting beat as. So as I said, we were outscored 349 to 54. Tennessee scored 233 of those 349 points. I mean, Tennessee just figured out the air raid the first year. The problem is, guys, people figured this out. It was a dink and dunk offense. You could not run the ball. So what happened after this? There was an outcry. We got to get somebody in here, Rich Brooks, who can run a pro-style offense. But we had to run the ball. So Rich Brooks comes in, and we get a running back named Raphael Little, if you guys remember him. And we ran the ball, and we win 3 bowl games. We beat Florida State. We beat Clemson. We beat East Carolina. We're winning bowl games. We're not doing great in the SEC, but we beat number 1 LSU. Stevie got loose. We beat Louisville because Louisville was starting to dominate us. And this against the air raid, we were getting our ass kicked by Louisville. Okay, every year. So yeah, I don't know what the Louisville score was. I didn't put it on here, but we got beat that year. But yeah, Louisville's starting to dominate us. So we had to run the football. Okay, that's why we got rid of this and scrapped it. Now, some people used it. Our offensive coordinator for Mississippi State that passed away now, I can't remember his name, went to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma won a national championship running a version of the air raid. So the air raid, worked for a while, but it did not work long term. Okay. Now, what other stats do I have here? So the only person we played this year, let's now think of it. Well, I make one more point. Basketball. It's like basketball. We're shooting 3-pointers. Okay. We're shooting 3-pointers. If you hit the 3-pointers, you score a lot of points. If you don't, you get your ass blown out of the gym. This is the same thing. Rick Pitino was the coach. We're winning national championships in 96, 97, 90. We're going to national championship games. And they thought this was going to be the Rick Pitino basketball offense on football turf, but it didn't end up that way. Okay. Now the cheating did not help. And we ran out of players down here. We don't have Craig East. Okay. We don't have Keel Sanford. We don't have Anthony White. We don't have Derek Homer. Problem is, couldn't replace him. Got to have wide receivers, running back, and a quarterback, and tight ends, and we did not have it, okay? So that's why we decided we needed to run the ball. So, like I said, Rich Brooks comes in 2003. Then when he leaves, Joker Phillips is there for a short time. Then in comes Mark Stoops. Now, if you remember, who was our offensive coordinator the first 2 years, or at least the first year or 2 years, I can't remember, is Neil Brown. Neil Brown was brought in to run a spread offense. So when Mark Stoops' first 2 years, when we win like 2 games and 3 or 4 games, we tried to run a spread offense. Remember that? Didn't work. We had to go to running. The reason he's the winningest coach, the reason we went to 8 or 9 bowls for the first time ever in a row is because we ran the ball. Okay, we ran the ball with Chris Rodriguez, Benny Snell, Lynn Bowden, whoever else we run the ball right now. Running the ball wins. This is a gimmick, is what they called it. Now, look, Toledo ran this. So Toledo ran this right here. They ran the air raid on us. Same exact offense. Toledo ran it this year. Tucker Gleason attempted 40 passes. He was 23 of 40. He had 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. They only had 89 yards rushing. Now, we only had 85 yards passing, but we had 220 yards rushing. And so we beat them, right? We beat them 24-16. Well, why did we beat them if we only had 85 yards passing? Because we ran the ball on them and they couldn't stop us. And we held on to the ball and we intercepted their quarterback. So yeah, I think we actually intercepted him twice. So we played an air raid team, Toledo. Now, that offense will work in the MAC. But if you think that offense will work in the SEC, let me ask you this. Why is nobody running the air raid in the SEC? Why is nobody running a spread offense, a traditional spread, run and shoot, whatever you want to call it, in the SEC? Why are they not doing that? because it doesn't work. Big Ten, Indiana's the only team running a really kind of a traditional spread offense, and it's working right now. And they did beat a ranked team, but they haven't beat Penn State. They haven't beat Ohio State. Let's remains to be seen whether or not Indiana's spread offense will work. Okay, nobody else is doing that, guys. Nobody, not in the Big Ten and the SEC. Who's the last team that won the national championship with a spread offense? I can't remember. So yeah, that's the reason nobody runs it, is because it's a gimmick offense. And yes, Dusty Bonner is going to get probably mad at me for saying that, but listen, dude, I watched you play. You were a good quarterback. You were gutty, but we would get blown off the field. Now, if you're cool with this, 6-6, 7-5, 7-6, Stoops is going 7-6 some years. If you're cool with 2-9, if you're cool with these scores, if you say, well, damn, I'd rather see us play Ole Miss and it be 59-31 than 30-23. Well, then you got me. If that's more entertaining to you, then fine. You got me on that one. But no, this will not work. Okay, this is outdated. Nobody runs it. There's a few people, Toledo. I mean, if you're a smaller school and yeah, you have to score points, you're going to try and run it. But you're not going to win in the SEC and the Big Ten running this right here. If you could win, people would be doing it, and they're not. No disrespect to the air raid. Nobody loved Hal Mummy more than I did. Nobody loved the air raid more than I did. But I soon realized that, they got us figured out. And once you get on the field and you keep putting their offense back on the field, and you don't score with them, you get beat. Like I said, Tennessee, I still cannot believe they put 233 points on us in 4 years, but they did. Okay, so like I said, we were outscored 350-250 basically. So we were outscored by 100 points. If you're cool with that and you're fun and that's exciting, then yeah, hey, bring it on. It doesn't matter to me. A loss is a loss. You can lose by running and you can lose by passing. But yes, I think we should run a pro style offense where we run and pass. That would be the smart thing to do, where it's 50% run, 50% pass. But that will be in the future. I just wanted to make this video on why we don't ever need to run this again. And I know I love BBN, loyal BBN, but no, Tim Couch, I like Tim Couch. I would not make him our football coach, okay? You don't take somebody off the street, no offense, as a quarterback. If so, Michael Jordan would be the best coach in the NBA. He hadn't, and he wasn't as a general manager. I don't think he ever coached, but yeah, no offense to Tim Couch, but yeah, no, you're going to bring in somebody experienced, and you're going to try to build a program with somebody. So anyway, we'll see what happens this year. I'm going to post this after the Georgia game. I made this before the Georgia game. I don't know what happened. I'm hoping it was a close game, and we stayed with them, and Cutter Bowley played well. If he didn't, well, we have a bye week this week, so we move on to Texas. The season's not over. If we lost, it's 2-3. We still play some teams that are awful. Auburn's awful offensively. Who else is awful offensively? Florida, awful offensively. So yeah, we play some teams that we can hang with, but we'll see what happens. And so anyway, if you're not subscribed to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button. Basketball's coming up. I do basketball. We will do watch parties for basketball games. We will do basketball videos. So there is a basketball section of this channel and a shorts section which has basketball and football. So please subscribe. I also do lives every week. So turn on those notifications and let's talk live. Tell me what you think about this, guys, in the comment section. And if you want to talk about it on a live, next time you see a live, come on and let's talk about it. Hey, thanks for watching.